What's going on, YouTube? I hope you're having a great, productive day. Got my boy KJ in the chair. He's a waver cut, as you can see. He gets a mid taper on the sides and a low taper in the back. So we're just gonna jump into this tutorial. So you want to start by combing the hair. You want to lift those hairs off the scalp just so your clipper guard can run through the hair smoothly. And anytime you're cutting wavers, you always want to comb, brush, and cut in the same direction just to maintain the integrity of the waves and get it down to that true desired length. You don't want to gouge any waves or take off too much hair in one area. All right, so I'm gonna take my one guard on my Andis Masters cordless clothes, and I'm gonna cut with the grain. Usually when I cut the crown area, I would cut it with a guard size higher because the crown tends to grow lighter. But with his texture, he has enough density in his crown area for me to cut it down with the same length. Also, notice how I'm just going along with the same pattern of the waves, like I mentioned earlier, just going over multiple times just to make sure I get every hair cut down to the same length. So anytime you cut down the waver, you just want to get you a quick brush session in really quickly, just to retrain the hairs and lay the hair back down. And also it lets your client know that you know the direction of their brush pattern and their wave pattern. It also gets off any little debris, hairs that were there while you cut it down, just to ensure that you have yourself a clean canvas to work on. All right, so I'm gonna start my ball line with my Babyliss Black FX trimmers. I'm not pressing hard at all because I don't wanna leave a hard line of demarcation. If you're not an experienced barber, I wouldn't recommend setting in your line with your trimmers, but if you do and you leave a harsh line, it's okay because you can get it out with the same trimmers that you set them with. So just keep that in mind when you're setting in your first ball line. All right, so I'm gonna start this fade going up about half an inch with my no guard open. He does like a low taper in the back, so this is as high as I'll be going in the back. I'll just be debulking and blending into the length on top. But I start off with my no guard open, going over it multiple times just to make sure that the hair is cut. Then I'm gonna close my lever and take out that bottom line. Then I'll close my lever up halfway and take out that middle line. Notice how I'm angling my clipper once I get to the sides because his hair grows in that direction. So I want to use the corner of my blade just so I'm not using the full blade and taking off hair on the other side of the blade that I'm not trying to. All right, so remember we cut down the length on top with our one guard closed. So I'm just gonna put that back on and start my debulking process. Just remembering not to go too high because it is a low taper. So just staying right at the bottom of that line, just debulking what I need to. And again, I cannot stress this enough to remember to use your corners, especially when you're in small spaces like this. It just helps with your precision. And like I said, not to cut any hair on the other side of the blade that you weren't intending to cut, because we all know you can't put hair back. All right, so I'm gonna slap on that half guard, starting with it halfway, always using my corners. And I'm gonna comb the hairs back into position just to see where they naturally lay, just so I can notice the progression of the fade and see what areas I need to keep lightening up. Notice how I adjust my lever as I go up in the fade. You don't want to keep bringing the fade up because you keep it on the same level. So remember to adjust your lever as you go up in the fade and keep this a low taper. And as you can see, this fade is slowly coming together. Just remaining consistent in my steps and trusting the process. So the debulk, I will be doing clipper over comb just to make sure that I don't take this fade up any higher. This is a little more advanced technique, so if you're not comfortable doing this, you can just put your one guard open back on and just use your corners just going in and debulking that area. All right, so I'll be setting my guideline in about mid to upper ear. Not too high, but not too low, because remember, it is gonna be a mid taper, so I'm just gonna give myself a little room to work with. So it'll be the same steps as in the back. I'm gonna take my no guard lever open, go up about 1 inch, just going over it multiple times to make sure the hairs are cut. And I'm gonna close it all the way and then close it halfway. So I put on my one guard, and then you're gonna see me start to scoop out because I don't wanna go too deep into those waves. He does have one wave you'll see me kind of go over multiple times. I'm trying to debulk out, but that's as high as I wanna go. I don't wanna go any higher than that because it is a mid taper, not a high mid taper. So I just wanna maintain the integrity of the fade and give it the desired look. So right here, I'm just doing a bit of lever play, just closing and opening my lever, going back into the areas that I see I need to attack. All right, so I'm gonna pull my comb back out just to go back over to my clipper over comb technique, making sure that I don't go too high, just debulking like I did earlier. And in my opinion, it just gives you a smoother blend overall. It's just something different that most barbers don't do. All right, so now I'm starting my lineup prep, just taking my feather comb, getting those hairs that might curl up around the hairline, just making it easier for myself during the lineup process. I also use holding spray and blow dried it with cool air. I just didn't record that part. All right, so I'm gonna start in the back of the beard just to get a quick outline before I go back to the back of the neck. All right, so we're gonna start at the bottom of the neck, start with the foundation of the house, then make my way up to the top. I'm gonna keep it nice and natural. And then when I get to the top, I'm gonna transition to my corners and go around the ear. So when it comes to the front lineup process, I'm just gonna start in the middle, work my way to one side, do the handlebars and the seat cups, and I'm gonna repeat the same steps on the other side. So starting my seat cups, I'm gonna make my guide in the front and then go down to my guide at the bottom. Then I'm gonna connect those two in the middle. No matter what type of style, what type of hair, what type of client sits in your chair, you go through the steps, you trust the process, and you'll get the desired result at the end of the day. This is how my client came in, and this is how he's leaving. If you rock with the cut, drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications because we're going to get this channel rolling, man. It's your boy Steph, and I'm out this thing.